Good morning, and welcome to Chapel Chat. I'm Pastor Kevin Little, and this is the chapel at Rantoul First United Methodist Church. This week, we're going to talk about my favorite Winter Olympic sport, curling. Curling dates back to the 1500s and originated in Scotland. The first official curling club on record was the Grand Caledonian Curling Club, which was formed in 1838. And after they demonstrated curling to Queen Victoria, they were allowed to change their name to the Royal Caledonian Curling Club. In curling, 10 stones are slid across the ice into the target area, which is known as the house. Play alternates between two teams, allowing for stones to be knocked out of or into position when struck by another. Curling actually gets its name from the spinning motion that's used to slide the stone, which causes it to curl into position. Doesn't this just sound amazing? Okay, I'm sure that there are some of you who are already bored, but I could easily start talking about some of the plays that I've seen over the past few days of the Olympics, especially the second end during the bronze medal match between Sweden and Great Britain. Holy cow, that was amazing. Or, on a possibly more relatable note to this region, I could jabber on and on about Illinois basketball. But since we played Purdue and lost on Tuesday, I'm not going to do that. I will say that the team played well against the number 3 team in the country, but I really would have liked to win. Now, if you've stuck this out so far, thank you for listening to me. I know that curling or college basketball might not be your favorite topics to talk about. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to listen to me talk about something that I find interesting. Did you know that listening to someone talk about something that you aren't interested in, or possibly even disagree with, is really rare in our society? We have so many different distractions available to us that we don't always feel like we have to waste our time talking to someone or listening to someone talk about something that we aren't interested in, or if they have a different perspective that doesn't line up with ours. And so we don't. Has that ever happened to you? Have you tried to talk to someone about something you like and had them tune you out, or change the subject, or just find a way to step out of the conversation because it wasn't something that they were interested in? Or did they cut you off so that they could just argue with you? It kind of sucks, doesn't it? And yet we do it. Even knowing that it isn't fun for someone else, we still do it. Somehow, we have forgotten how to have conversations with each other. We've forgotten that there's a give and a take required. We forget that if I want you to listen to me, then I need to listen to you as well. And that still applies if we don't agree. Instead, we put rules on things. Have you ever heard the saying that there are 3 things that you shouldn't talk about with others? Now I've seen some longer lists, but I've always heard it as 3, and that's money, politics, and religion. Did you know we apply that still to church also? As a pastor, I've been told by congregations not to talk about money or to ask about money, except the church depends on money to stay open, so I have to. I've been told not to talk about politics, except everything in our world is politicized in some way. For example, a few years ago, I said that it was wrong to separate Hispanic children from their parents and to put them in cages after they crossed the border into the U.S. That was considered a political statement, and I was told by a member of the church at that time that I shouldn't have said it. But it was really just a statement about how we treat other human beings, not politics. Unfortunately, though, how we treat other human beings has become political. For some reason, as a society, we've stopped having conversations. How did it get so bad? Why did it become so easy to just ignore or shout down or shut out what someone else is saying? And at what point do we stop walking away from conversations and instead start figuring out how to have them again? I don't really have an answer, but I would love for you to take some time and think about it. And then while we're looking at how we treat each other, let's just go ahead and get spiritual with it a little bit. Are we tuning God out when He says something we might not be interested in or agree with? Are we trying to actively listen and place value in the words that Jesus speaks into our lives? Sometimes prayer becomes less of a conversation and more of a grocery list or a lecture, when what we really need to do is close our own mouths and listen. But that's hard, and we aren't wired like that anymore. And while I can safely say that this process has been developing for hundreds of years, I also believe that the past 30 years of technological advances has made it much worse. Personal computers and cell phones have allowed for people with common interests to connect while also enabling us to tune out the rest of the world. We can always find something more interesting than what our children, friends, spouses, or even strangers are trying to talk to us about. We can even find entire news channels that are dedicated to telling us things that we already agree with, and then we never have to listen to a viewpoint that we don't share. Now, don't get me wrong. I also see huge benefits from technology, such as being able to attend worship from home, and we do that utilizing our cameras, computers, and the internet. But we need to remember how to listen to each other, and especially how to listen to God. I'd like you to take some time over the next couple of days to spend a little bit of time listening. Have a conversation with someone that has a different point of view than you do, and just listen to their perspective. It doesn't mean that you agree with them. It just means that you value them as a human being. Ask God what He thinks about what is going on in the world, or what He might want for your life. And then just sit quietly and see what He says. Thanks for joining me for another Chapel Chat. I'll see you again next week from right here in the chapel. Have a great week.